What is going on, everybody? It is Tom Radigan here right now. What is going on? What is happening to y'all? So, today's live stream is going to be about Billy Joel's new song, Turn the Lights On, as you see right there, right there. It is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We are back. We are back than ever. We are back. Back like I always said, we are back. So yeah, let me see. Just setting up one thing. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. Okay. All right. Do we got anybody on right now? Do we got anybody on the stream right now? Let's see. Let's see. All right. Okay. We got. Let's see. I figured I'd start at 9:30. Just want to get because like I said, I'd start 9:30, so might as well. And all right. I mean, first video back of 20 and first video in 2024. I only did one video in 2023, surprising, but life gets in the way, and I'm back. Hey, that's really all I gotta say. No excuses. Just able to make a video, and I'm glad I'm able to do it and have the time to do it. So yeah, so I wanted to talk about Billy Joel's new song that just came out, "Turn the Lights Back On." As you see, I've got all these Billy Joel records behind me too. So of course we're gonna be talking about that. It seems, if obviously there's a lot of one if there's one particular artist that's all around my area for a specific reason, you might wonder why, and turn the lights on. And as you can see, the light is on right there, and the light's right there. Hey, look at that! Look at that! Look at the connections we're making. Look at the great connections. But anyway, anyway, so yeah, so it's been 17 years since Billy Joel has put out a new song with music and with original music and original lyrics, because he claims that he still writes music, just not with lyrics. But yeah, he released a new song this yeah on February 1st, which was a surprise to a lot of people that this was going to be happening. And from the articles I was reading, this kind of happened only, this was only planned for a few months ago, because and I guess it was keep kind of it was on the down low, and a very hush hush situation, and it's an interesting story too of how this song came together. So the song is called "Turn the Lights Back On," and it's written, of course, by Billy Joel, but he also he collaborated with Freddie Wexler. His name is Freddie Wexler. Apparently, has worked with Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber. So yeah, you could tell he's a new type of producer, or like not new, but like has worked more with like current artists and all that. So that's kind of how he's gotten well known. He's not like an old time producer that Billy Joel was known working with at that time. Like somebody like a Phil Ramone or anything like that. And but I mean, this it was an interesting choice of collaboration. It was an interesting choice of a song altogether, I think. I mean, the one thing I will say, so yeah, so it was co-written with Billy Joel, Freddie Wexler, and then two other people who worked with Freddie Wexler on it. So what it was apparently the story was that Freddie Wexler he got a chance to meet Billy Joel by his wife, who knew Billy Joel's family doctor. So it was this whole story how like Billy Joel is one of his biggest idols, and his wife, God bless her, and great job for anybody. If you ever get married and all that, or if you're ever in a relationship, you want to find somebody who gets you the dream person that you want to meet. So Billy Joel is the person who was his idol, and he got a chance to actually, yeah, like I said, meet him through his wife. So his wife was able to like track down a doctor who knew Billy Joel's family for some reason, and for some reason, Billy Joel agreed to have lunch with this guy who was this stranger. And yeah, no, so Freddie Wexler said that he knew that he had to really make an impression because Billy already took like, or they went to a place where Billy ordered clams and a BLT to go. So he knew he had to really, he was on thin ice here and really just kind of had to, make a real impression on him. And like, the one thing that's so interesting too is because he said to him that, I don't believe that you can't write music, or I don't believe that, you're done with writing new songs. And it was so interesting that he was that bold at saying that to him, which I think any fan or anybody who gets a chance to meet Billy Joel and is a fan would want to say everything they would want to say of what they feel with him making, oh, you should really make a new song or make a new album. And he's been, and the thing about Billy Joel is he's been getting tired of people, pressuring him or, hammering him to make an album. And so many people like have come out to him. Big people in the music industry have reached out and said that he should make a new album, including of course Elton John, which the famous story is that Elton John tells him he should make more albums, and he tells Elton John that he should make less albums. And then but other people like Clive Davis, Rick Rubin, all of these people have been trying for years to get Billy Joel to write a new album or a new song. And this guy, Freddie Wexler, who nobody probably knew who the hell he was, who listened to Billy Joel or any really 70s, 80s music, really knew who the heck is this guy. And that's really kind of what's so interesting about the story is that nobody really knew who he was. And he was really, Freddie Wexler was just a fan. And not to say, like I said, Freddie Wexler is apparently a big, well known music producer in the industry, working with Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber, and apparently he even had an alter ego where he performed, where he had a few hits under this alter ego named Jackson Maine. And it was really interesting because he was talking to Billy about how he really should write new music, and he said too, like, and that he could help him, and asked about any unfinished songs that Billy was working on, from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and Billy talked about a few, and Freddie Wexler, had the courage to be like, why don't we bring those up again? Why don't we start working on those again? And which is really cool. And so they got together, and then he wanted to talk about a song that he was working on with a few friends, and and he decided to show it to Billy, but not in a way of that Billy thought that he was going to be recording it. Just they just had this good camaraderie that they were able to establish, and they were like, you know what, let's so he was like, trying to take advantage of it, that he, taking advantage of it, of that, then by, let me see, I have the attention of Billy Joel, let me show him the songs I'm working on. So he showed him like a new song, and he felt like it was a good song, a good thing to show him, because, and maybe something that the reason why he was able to like it or really be engaged to it was, it wasn't music that he put on the shelf for a good amount of time. So it was interesting that they were able to work on this. It is claimed that even though this is a Billy Joel song, uh, he did, of course, collaborate. His name is on the credits and all that, but he didn't add so much, I think, to the lyrical aspect. He really more added more, his contribution was more to the melody and the arrangement, which is interesting because Billy Joel is a soul songwriter. Billy Joel wrote all the lyrics and music to all his songs. So it's interesting that he had not only one collaborator but two other collaborators as well. So I thought that was interesting. And and it was interesting how just on board he was with this whole project. I mean, honestly, you wouldn't think so. And I think it's also too because he was, not at he didn't at first think that it was gonna be him who was gonna be doing this song. And then he said, like, no, this sounds like and Billy Joel apparently said that like he was thinking the song should actually be for Adele. And Freddie Wexler said to him, no, I think this should be a Billy Joel song. And he talked about how Billy Joel was really hesitant to do it because he hadn't really, yeah, he had two songs that he released in 2007, which was All My Life, which was a Valentine song for his wife at the time, and then a protest song to support the troops, in Iraq and all that. And it was called Christmas in Fallujah. And but it was just yeah, it was so now that we've got Billy Joel coming back to us with new music is just incredible. It's just it's a phenomenal thing. I mean, I was over the moon about it. It's just in some ways just really exciting. And the one thing I want to just go over with before we actually dive into the song is who collaborated on it. And so let's go into that. And just I wanted because I was like, what's the name? The name of the people that collaborate on it besides Freddie Wexler. So I just want to point that out. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Christmas with Fallujah, which was okay. Okay, yeah. So it was Freddie Wexler. Freddie Wexler, yeah, and then okay, the other collaborator was Arthur Bacon and Wayne Hector. So they worked on the song with him, and the producer was Parisi and Emil Haney. So also okay, so and so now we dive into my thoughts on this song. And so what I feel about this song is like the best way to say it is that I liked it. I was looking forward to it because like I said, new Billy Joel music. But also too, I was remembering that Billy Joel is it has been a while since Billy Joel has performed a new song. And also too, he is another thing that people don't remember. And oh, let me put this back up and all again because the light because of course the light likes to go off. But here. All right. So no more distractions. So, but the real reason I think I like this song or like I was excited about his new music was that because it has been so long since he's been performing. I, like I said, the reason why I was a little like I wasn't thinking this was going to be the greatest song is not just because he's 74, but when it comes to older musicians who were unfortunately out of their prime of writing original materials and just in some ways just performing the hits that everybody loves, people like kind of write them out or have high expectations of what they should be writing about or what their song should sound like just because they are such established musicians. But you do have to understand that you're probably not gonna like their new music the way you like their music from 1973 or 1975 for that instance. So that's something that you have to remember too when you're listening to an older artist, and also to just cherish that they're still able to make music while you're around in your lifetime. I think you also cherish that too. And but and also too, they are still talented. Like and this definitely goes for Billy Joel with Turn the Lights On. So turn the lights back on, which he did. He turned the lights back on. And I think that's the lyrics represent that it's never too late to come back, and like even the line like I'm late but I'm here now, did I wait too long? I mean, I think those lines are great because it does show that like it's never too late to come back to what you love. I mean, look at even this right now. I've been busy with with work and other activities and not really focused on doing videos in a while, and able to come back because of Billy. And so I think that says something too, that it's never too late to do something, and he's never ruling out a new song or even a new album for that matter. There hasn't been talk of that yet, but they have talked about working on the unfinished songs. So the people that I wanted to mention uh, that worked with Billy on this and Freddie Wexler were Arthur Bacon and Wayne Hector were the co-writers on this. Then you had the producer Parisi, who was the co-producer, which was like they were like a duo, and then Emil Haney, who was also an additional producer. So the one that I will say about the production of this song, it's a little, I don't know. I mean, it's at first, like when you first hear Billy's song, I like that you hear Billy's voice right away. I think hearing Billy's voice right away shows that this is no bullshit. We're getting right to it. And I think also too, though, the one that I will say is that you know even with being 74, he still is able to have a good voice. I mean, yeah, it's definitely older, and there's no surprise of that. That's no shock when you hear this record that he is 74, I think. But also too, I will say, because like I showed my mom this, and my mom kind of thought the song was boring, but loves his voice. And we'll get to why some people might say it could be boring, but the one thing is, I would say, and you know, I think I'm just such a cynic in a lot of ways, and because AI technology has been such a big thing this past year, it's just like I will say, and I might get hate for saying this, but the first part of his voice sounds AI in some ways. And I'm not saying that they used an AI generator. I'm not saying that at all, but it's just like it sounded like a little just too automatic for me. So I kind of felt that like at first I'm like, it's got to be Billy Joel because they're promoting this as a Billy Joel record, but it also sounds like a little like they relied on technology as well for it a little too much. But then when you hear the song over a little bit more and more, like when you get into more of the verse and hear that like wait this is probably actually Billy all the way through. Uh, and but so I showed my mom this, and before the song was over, she was like, "I don't like it." She thought it was like too boring, and I see that like like when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, okay." I thought that it didn't have as much character, and that's the thing about Billy Joel's songs. They are like they have so much character in them. When you hear songs like Piano Man, Scenes from Italian Restaurant, Vienna, My Life, Honesty, uh, you know, uh, You May Be Right, Don't Ask Me Why, Leave a Tender Moment Alone, like all these songs have like a specific personality to them and flavor. And this song didn't feel like it did in the same way that it just is like, oh yeah, this is Billy Joel. And maybe that's because it's not solely Billy Joel, because like I said, Billy Joel is known to be his own collaborator. Jesus Christ. But yeah, he's known to be his own collaborator and his own, he never really had songwriting partner like his counterpart Elton John, who, worked with Bernie Taupin. And I think that's another thing that I want to focus on, that of why Billy Joel has talked about how songwriting is a pain, and that's the reason why he's kind of gave up on it or just stopped doing it, because it was becoming such like a painful process, and he felt he made 12 albums and he had enough to, and he felt like his time was up, he had enough to say, and he kind of like lost that passion. And it's so cool that somebody who we don't know that well was able to bring that passion back or help spark more interest. And Billy said when he heard the song that it's not bad, which he told Freddie Wexler, he goes like, like, and when I say it's not bad, that means like that means something for me, because he says usually he hates his voice. So he heard the song and didn't hate his voice and was willing, and then was talking about well, if I release it, I'll probably have to play it live. And when Freddie Wexler said, "Oh my God, he's talking about releasing it," so like it's just like very, like wow, like Billy was able to get that passion back. But I think the reason why it was harder for him was because he was his own songwriter. There was nobody else. It was him that was writing the music and the lyrics, unlike Elton John, who had Bernie Taupin, or like the Grateful Dead when they had a lyricist Robert Hunter. Billy Joel was like John Fogerty or Bob Dylan. They were their own songwriters, and. And that's also another thing too. When there is a lot more music from artists like Grateful Dead, Elton John, than there are from John Fogerty or Billy Joel, for that matter. And I think in some ways it's because when you think about it, it's like we got one guy working, and one guy, you don't get it. If you're working on a lot of projects and all that, you probably are going to get more done if you work with a collaborator than yourself per se. So that's so that's a thing too that I think people have to take in count, and all that, and really kind of understand um when it comes to Billy Joel's catalog or his music, that the only time he ever had a collaborator was the song Code of Silence with Cyndi Lauper. And actually another collaborator he had was Beethoven, because the song This Night has like a piece from Beethoven that he credited as Ludwig Beethoven as his co-writer. Yeah, I think yeah, it's credited to that. It's actually pretty funny that it's credited to that. Let me see. All right. Let me see. I'm just very curious to see what it says. This night, Billy Joel. It's funny how I'm relying so much on my phone while I'm streaming, but I just hey, there are times if we make an error, we'll be able to correct it. Beautiful thing about live. Beautiful thing. Think about that. Think about that. Yeah. So Ludwig van Beethoven was his co-writer. All right, for This Night. But yeah, no. But in all seriousness, yeah. So I think that's why it probably was harder for Billy Joel to come back or give up, or not give up, but just like lose his interest, because songwriting is such a process. Creating something is hard. It's not easy, so that's why it was taking him a while, or he lost interest and was like, all right, I'll still perform, but I'll just perform the songs that I'm well known for. And you know he was able to work with that and still make money off of that with Madison Square Garden. He's been, the headliner of Madison Square Garden for 10 years and has not put out new songs. Yet people still come to see him because his catalog is so well known. And his catalog has just such a lot of great tunes that people don't give a fuck that he hasn't written in 2024. He didn't even have to write, and people would have still come to see him like in 3 years. There's something about him, his quality as a musician, that just always will just stand out to people. It really really will. And yeah, no, it really will. And also too, if you notice me just playing with my face for a minute, I cut myself shaving today, so fun. So it's like, looks like lipstick, doesn't it? Beautiful. But oh my god, it looks like, oh my god, it really does. It looks like lipstick was smudged off. That's wonderful. But yeah, no. So but I do want to focus a little bit more on the production. So and even like with the collaboration, that with this sound, like I said, how it doesn't have as much character as other Billy Joel songs. And it could be because, it wasn't solely written by Billy Joel, and that he didn't really mainly write the lyrics with this. With Code of Silence with Cyndi Lauper, he was writing the lyrics. Cyndi Lauper just helped him a little bit. This song was really more, the only really contribution was really his melody and all that. And it is funny how it's in the same time signature as Piano Man, because I was reading an article where it was talking about that, and it does have that Piano Man style to it in the song. And what I think works well is it is a blend of new music and of new modern music and the music that Billy Joel was well known for in the '70s. So it sounds like a mix of a '70s and current vibe blended together well. And maybe that's because you got like a lot of Freddie Wexler and all these other current musicians in the industry working on this song. So of course it's going to sound somewhat current, but when you got Billy Joel, he's able to bring that aspect back to with the melody to kind of maybe focus on stuff that he's familiar with. So I kind of like that it sounds like both like something that could have been from the '70s, but something that is so current as well. So I think that works. I mean, after listening to it for a while, I really do think it's not boring. I know my mom thought it was boring. I thought it was like not so much boring at first, but just like I said, where is the where's the heart in it? It didn't feel like the heart was there. It didn't feel like the Billy Joel formula was so much there necessarily. But I do think, listen, it's been 17 years since we got a new Billy Joel song. This is the song we got, and it was good. But I think too, there's pressure artists face when they release new songs and new albums. For instance, they get hung up on, they might get hung up on the reviews. They might, and the one thing with an album is at least, if people don't like certain songs, there's one song that they'll at least love if they think the album sucks. With one song, if they don't like it, then that's it. But Billy Joe has also claimed that he's come to a point in his life where he doesn't need the song to be a hit. He's Billy Joe. He's not as worried. So I think, but I do think it is a good song. I think they did a good job at promoting it and doing some good buzz before the Grammys, and then him actually performing it at the Grammys was really cool. That we got a chance to see Billy Joe perform it, and have a performance there, and be with other current artists who love him, like Olivia Rodrigo, who of course referenced him in her song, which I saw him live with Olivia Rodrigo as the guest. So and that's of course on my channel as well. But yeah, no, I do think this is an interesting song, and I think that this does open up the question of, will there be more Billy Joel music in the future? Will there be more songs? Will there possibly be an album? And in the article, Freddie Wexler talking about how he's hoping to like he's making small adjustments, like taking baby steps of like releasing one song, then maybe we'll release another, then a third, and then hey, maybe then he'll be like, let's do an album. So it's possible that there will be another Billy Joel album eventually. We don't know when. They're not promoting anything about it yet. They have no discussion, or maybe even planned yet. But I think that is interesting to say that, like, the Billy Joel wondering if Billy Joel is completely gone. I think is out of the question. I think we know that for sure. He's still going. He's still going strong. And I will say the production is interesting. Of course, the producer, like I said, because we have new producers, like, or not new producers, but like more current producers, you're gonna have somewhat of a current sound. So that's what we got. But I kind of feel like it would be interesting to see Billy come back with some songs with him writing himself. I mean, not that I don't like Freddie Wexler's contribution to this. And not that I don't like his story, and I do think that maybe it would be cool to have another song with him and Freddie Wexler, but it would be cool to see maybe some soul Billy Joel songs. But maybe, maybe at the moment he's not able to do that completely by himself. And maybe he is, and maybe you never know too. Maybe he will change his mind and being like, you know, work having like a full-time collaborator. So maybe we will see this just new sound of Billy Joel with Freddie Wexler. So maybe, but I would like to see them use more of an older producer, or a producer like with more, with so much experience, with somebody like maybe like T-Bone Burnett, who worked on a few Elton John records that came out in the 2010s, or somebody like Glyn Johns, who still produces every now and then, or Rick Rubin, or even Mark Ronson would be an interesting producer, I think, for Billy Joel, or a collaboration. But I would like to see more of like of those types of producers, than like the producers that like are just making current music. I want to see somebody who like is able to understand and appreciate Billy Joel's sound, and is able to like keep it, like keep it in a container, in a way as it doesn't cause any too big major spills. Like we don't need too many major spills, or big blow ups, or problems with it. And I think that's something we could have if you got like people who were experienced. I'm not saying that the people that worked on this record were inexperienced or anything, but it would be cool, just I think for fun too, to see what he would do, what he would be like with T-Bone Burnett as his producer, or Rick Rubin. Just because I think another thing about Billy Joel is he was well known for being for his like every artist in some ways is well known for their producer, even though they might have worked with other producers. They're well known for working with one specific producer. Of course, the Beatles with George Martin, Elton John, Gus Dudgeons, Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, and Billy Joel had Phil Ramone. And Phil Ramone was this great producer who produced The Stranger, 52nd Street, Glass Houses, Innocent Man, Nylon Curtain. All the albums that we love with Billy Joel are mostly produced by the great Phil Ramone. And that's the same with with, I think, what was it, the song? Well, Turnstiles actually was produced just by Billy Joel, and Piano Man wasn't produced by him, Phil Ramone either. But that was the thing, though. Most of the songs that we love from Billy Joel were produced by Phil Ramone, and Phil Ramone even produced one of the recent songs that he did, 17 years ago, All My Life. No. But Phil Ramone is sadly no longer with us. He died about 10 years ago, and yeah, no. I mean, I think Phil Ramone did a lot for Billy Joel's career and really helped polish his sound. So if we could get a producer to kind of get that sound back, or get us, or in an album sense, like where we can get a producer that can maintain this quality for, like, let's say 9 or 10 songs. I know I really am pushing or hoping that we do have a new Billy Joel album, but like I said, this new song is great that we have at least something from Billy Joel. That's nice to say. And if we ever go to see Billy Joel live again, maybe he has a new song to play in his set list. So that's something to be said too. Yeah, no. So that's pretty much my review. And of course, my iPad went down again. Thanks for the people that have been watching this video or the stream. And yeah, see you next time, whenever that is. But it's never too late to turn the lights back on. And don't worry, I have not turned the lights off. Have a good night, everyone.